It's you liberals who have lifted them up, Howard.
Paul, you conservatives make a mistake. You can't afford to strangle hope in people. Without hope, people become dangerous.
No, Howard, you liberals have let them invade our society. You give them jobs, political jobs.
Paul, you missed the point. It's only the smart ones we move up.
That makes it even worse.
No, we have to move them up. If we leave a smart one in the ghetto, he might develop into a leader against us. But if we raise him up into white society, we neutralize him. He feels compelled to try to act like us. He loses his identity and his racial anger, if he has any. He becomes alien to his brothers. They realize he sold them out, and they grow to hate him. He becomes worthless to them and safe for us. No, thank you. In fact, in his love for the creature comforts, except for his color.
And we're hot and we still say Happy New Year. Thank you all so much for being tuned in to Feedback, a positive image production by Hood Research, and we will be here for another hour. We have folks on the line. My name is Theo Broughton, co-founder of Hood Research. Hassan Aleem is my co-host, and our guest today is Tom Barrow, certified public accountant and well-versed on the issues that we face.
Okay, we're going straight to the calls.
All right.
Caller, you on the line. How are you viewing us?
And your name?
Good morning, everyone. This is Tawana Morris.
Thank you for calling.
Theo, you have two most powerful men and fighters for justice.
Oh, absolutely.
I've been listening to your show. I'm enjoying everything I hear.
Thank you for tuning in.
I'm looking for a more powerful year for the working class. And I would definitely like to hear your viewpoints and like to hear the names of the people who we do not need to listen to. We do need a new system, and we need transparency. And just because you're black don't mean you're right. Mm-hmm. It takes the whole village to create a better universe.
All right.
We need honest, creditable people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Tawana said
right,
something
thank you
here.
for that.
Tawana said something, and I think she's absolutely correct when she says it. And we as a people, as a city, have to cross these lines no matter what hue you are. Just because you're African American or just because you're black doesn't mean that we're going to follow you. We are not monolithic in that way. Mm-hmm. And there is a perception by some on the outside that if they get the right African American, or they get an African American and they put them in a position of influence, that that's a leader. That isn't a leader. That isn't one of us, and we do not follow that. So I appreciate Tawana's kind words because, of course, she's been around for a while, and she's been out there struggling and fighting and trying to make things right. And I'm delighted to hear what she had to say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next call. Caller, you on the air?
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy New Year to each one of you. I'm watching on channel 91 Comcast Cable. My name is Jay, and I have a question to Mr. Barrow.
Thank you for calling, Jay.
The another call is trying to come in. Concerning, since he's a CPA, and I've read this in the Wall Street Journal, we know a new administration is coming in, after January 21st. Mm-hmm. And he talked about relaxing regulatory agencies and rescinding a lot of things that have been implemented for years. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I read was Sarbanes-Oxley, which Mr. Barrow could talk about, but they're talking about possibly rescinding that and the ramifications that would have on each one of us, the accounting practices that businesses have to use in their daily routine. And, I was one that worked in the private sector, and I saw how that particular law changed a lot of practices. There was a lot of waste and corruption that was going on inside of certain corporate entities. So could he talk about that and how that would affect, the whole rollback of regulatory agencies, but specifically that Sarbanes-Oxley Act. And I'll take it offline because I can't hear too much on the phone.
Okay.
Thank you for calling.
You know, it's Sarbanes-Oxley, which is he referring to. A lot of folks don't know about it, but that's what really regulates the banks and corporations and CPAs when they perform examinations have to comply with the Sarbanes-Oxley Act. And that there's a number of areas there that you have to deal with in terms of management's responsibility for what's going on in the business. Management now has to accept responsibility for whatever it is that gets disclosed and goes on. With regard to the banks, it changes the banks' ratios of what they can have in terms of deposits to the ability to make loans. It also requires certain standards with regard to loan making and how that can be done. Check 21, which is the one that allows you to even now use an app to make deposits to your bank account. All that grew from Sarbanes-Oxley. And the banks themselves are regulated through this. And that's a huge one because it allowed, before this, allowed banks, the banks had to maintain certain ratios. By repealing it, it will then allow banks to do a lot of stuff and risky things that they could not do before. So it's a comprehensive act, and I think there are those who want to repeal it because it is holding back some of the ruthlessness that has gotten us into the problems that we had in the first place. So that's pretty good, Jay, that you know about that. A lot of folks do not, and you did, and that's impressive. But there's so much more to it that I couldn't get into all of it here. But CPAs are aware of it.
Do you think it would be better for more people to become members of credit unions rather than banks?
And Sarbanes-Oxley did allow that you then did not have to be, for example, if you belong to the Christian credit union, for example, you don't necessarily now have to be a Christian in that particular segment. And it allowed it to branch out. So a lot of folks began to move their money from banks into credit unions. And that was another of the benefits.
Do you think that would be better for our community?
Well, you know, to me, I think if you have the right folks in the right spots, they will make the deposits happen. So no matter who's got those deposits, they will make them spend them and loan them in the community from which those deposits arise.
Okay.
Okay, take another caller here. Caller, you're on the air. Can we get your name and how are you viewing this?
My name is Shahid. Good morning and Happy New Year. And I'd like to ask the question to Mr. Bell and Hassan.
Thank you for calling.
What do you think about Robert Davis' lawsuit against the Pistons and Dan Gilbert of taking 36th District and want to make a soccer stadium? And I think that you were talking about Chantel Jackson.
Yes, that's what it was. Yes, that's right.
Okay, those are the questions I want to ask. Assalamu alaikum, peace.
Wa alaikum salam.
With regards to Brother Davis, you know, he's a tenacious guy. You have to really admire the guy.
Right.
Because he reads everything, and then he sees and if I know what Shahib is talking about, he's talking about the Open Meetings Act violations, wherein they made decisions behind closed doors and then just came out and rubber stamped it, and you can't do that, and therefore even the agreement for the new stadium, the new Red Wing Stadium, is in violation of the Open Meetings Act, and therefore anything that took place cannot go into effect. So that's a big deal. And that means the Pistons being able to come down and the monies that they've given them as grants and tax abatements. And you know what's so strange about this is that here they'll take poor people's homes and they turn around and won't give you a nickel. And then they will turn around and give tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars to corporations and not provide any way at all for a poor person or a working class person to be able to pay their property taxes. So I find problems. But my problem with Chantel Jenkins, and you're right, Shahid, that was the person I was thinking of. And I said it to her face that I have no respect for you. And that's only because I watched her lead the charge to take Cobo Hall. And it was such a clear, inappropriate move, and she was clearly being used, but because she was young, she didn't know she was being used in that way. And as soon as she got done and they got what they wanted, they threw her away. And that's what they don't put you under. They don't throw you under the bus. They stand you up right in the middle of the street and run the bus straight over you. And that's just youth and a lack of experience. So
Yeah, but she got
thank you, Shahid.
relocated
That's very
into
good. I
a
appreciate that
different job.
that question.
Didn't she get another job or a position where she's being paid
With
more like Gary Brown?
yeah, she got a position with Thaw.
Thaw.
Yes.
Okay, next.
Caller, you on the air?
Good morning. This is Thomas from Detroit, watching
for
on
calling.
Comcast 91.
All right, thanks for calling.
This system of capitalism is the mother and father of all poverty and racism and all the horrible things that demean and literally kill masses of people. Capitalism. It has, even this morning, put us melanin Africans in a state of mind where we're dogging out other black people, blaming them for our lot, for our plight. Hassan mentioned that it was black people who sold the party stores and gas stations to Arabs. It wasn't that simple. It was the United States Department of Commerce who created policies and structures to take over all matter of businesses across this country. Most of the time, putting so-called foreigners in ownership positions. They do it for international reasons, national security reasons. But I want to say that, and I know this is probably going to be hard for Tom Barrow to swallow, being a CPA, that we're going to have to start moving away from this system of capitalism. It's going to take a while, but this game here, capitalism, is one we're not going to win. This system is barbaric, and it's in the hands of some of the most vicious people backed by militaries around the world. And it will also, there was a discussion about how people who look like us, I put it in leadership positions to sign off on this and that. Yeah, it's because of capitalism. You pay people, they want to sustain their lifestyle, or they just want to have basics to live, and they will sign off. And let's be honest, under this system, even the three of you, if you had to give us some money, you probably will sign off on some policies for these corporate government thieves and murderers. And it's all because of capitalism and the system that runs the world. So we need to move away from it slowly but surely and create another system and dynamic for us to live by and
What
under.
system would that be?
Thank you.
All right. Well,
Anyone answer
it's
that?
well. Look at Thomas. You're right. It's a hard one for me to swallow. I believe in capitalism because I think it allows you leeway to do things. I think what we're really having our disagreement about is the abuse of the system by other folks. It's not going to change until we make things change, particularly as it affects our community. I think black folks and some black folks in leadership positions signing off. I heard that and I understand that because they'll look out. Republicans have a way of taking care of their own. But if you are a person of principle, if you are a person with a moral fiber that causes you to make to do what you do in your actions, no amount of money is going to make that happen. You're just not going to have that happen. And I think we just got to recognize that just because somebody looks like us doesn't mean that they are for us. And that's just the reality of it. But I appreciate your question, Thompson. You're right, man. It's a hard one for me to swallow as an accountant.
Next.
But you know, Tom, one of the biggest problems for black folks in any minority group seems to be that we don't understand the system they're talking about. We got a name for it, capitalist or communist or socialism, but we don't understand the system. You know, you can look at the athletes, you can look at the entertainers, you can look at any group of blacks, small as they are, with money. They won't open up a bank. They won't open up a credit union. You may say, and the listeners may say, well, why would they open up a bank? So they can increase their wealth 10% just by opening up the bank. Because we're in a fractional banking system. Meaning, for let's just say, for simplicity, for every dollar that we put in the bank or the credit union, the owners can create 10 times that amount. So
That's Sarbanes-Oxley.
Right, right. So this is what I'm saying. We don't understand the system. So Oprah Winfrey has $1 billion. If she owned a bank rather than well, she can keep her television network, but open up the bank. Now she's got $10 billion. And that's what we've got to start to understand. How come we don't have any money? Well, because we don't know how to print the money out of thin air like they do.
I think, Thomas hit on it just a moment ago with regard to us pulling down one another and so on. So that's the Willie Lynch syndrome.
Right.
You see, that's exactly what Willie Lynch meant by the letter that he wrote as to how to keep black folks in check and so on. Is if you don't want one to look, you got to keep them fighting.
Right.
As long as you keep them fighting, you will stay in power where you need to be. And that's essentially what's being done now, which is why we got to organize against it. But you're right, I agree. Mm-hmm. Thomas, you're on it, man. I'm with you.
Okay, let's take another call. Carla, you on there? How are you viewing this, and what's your name?
Happy New Year.
Happy
This is
New
Dee Dee.
Year.
I'm viewing you on my cell phone.
All right.
On your cell phone. You are cutting edge, lady.
When Hassan, Theo, when you had asked Hassan about the bonds, my cutting edge cell phone just shut down and then started back up when you guys were talking about the mayors. Could you explain that again about the bonds and how I believe the Michigan State Constitution says that if they're going to put a municipal bond on a city and the taxpayers have to pay property taxes, i.e. Flint and the KWA, that city is supposed to vote
Absolutely,
to take on that debt, and especially with that administrative consent order that they said they signed to make it so that they could issue those bonds.
That order violates the Michigan Constitution. The people have to vote on it. And for some reason, we don't want to look at the Michigan Constitution. We say the law, that is the law. The Michigan Constitution is the Bible of the state of Michigan. It says what the governor can do and what he can't do, what the legislatures can do. And the main thing it tells you in it that the law and the rights are reserved to the people. Because and it's in there about the vote on the bonds.
And that's exactly why much of what they've done here in Detroit can be undone. It can be undone because in the rush to do what they're doing, they simply violate the law. They know that there's no one charged with the duty or the ability or has the resources to challenge them because the ones who should be challenging them are complicit in the takeover. So therefore, they're successful in doing it. Public Act 436 and some of the things they're doing under it are in violation of the Constitution, as you just said, Hassan.
Right.
And it's because no one's going to challenge them because the people to challenge them are the ones who are doing the violating.
Exactly.
So if we don't organize, again, our own little kind of bus boycott, we have to organize ourselves. And if we do that, we can begin to make some of these changes, and we won't sit on the outside wringing our hands. Dee Dee, you're right with your cutting edge.
That's January the 11th.
January 11, 26, not 17.
You said 2016, and I'm like, I'm late for that meeting.
No, that means you've already missed the meeting. No, it's January 11, 2017, 13960 Gratiot Avenue, Detroit. And please come. We're going to start
I'm going
at
to listen
6.
off the air because it's hard to hear you guys, but thank you for a great show. Bye-bye.
We're going to start at 6, and we're going to end at 7:30.
13960.
Yes.
Right.
That's
Near
it.
French Road.
No, 7 miles.
7 miles.
7 miles.
Okay.
What you know about French Road?
French Road.
That's right.
The
That's
east
right.
side.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what street is this on? 13960?
Gratiot.
Right.
And it's
at
just
the
south
Venetian
of
Hall.
Yes, just south of 7 Mile.
Okay, south of 7 Mile.
Take another call?
Yes.
Caller, you on the air?
How you doing?
Okay.
Fine. Good morning.
Morning, how you doing?
Good, sir.
Can we have your name and how are you viewing us?
Yeah, I'm watching you on channel 33. I call because I want to know, this election year, right, for the city council and the mayor?
Uh-huh.
Not this year.
This year, yes.
2017, they
Yes,
started.
So,
Yeah.
2017.
if the people can't have no faith in the system after we just had election in November, what guarantee that when they have an election this fall, that it's going to be successful if we don't take care of business now and making sure that this thing works right? So I'm asking you your opinion. What do you think when the candidates come out in a few months? What's going to guarantee that their votes going to be counted? Do you think they ought to be working on something now? What's your opinion towards that? Thank you.
Yes. What was his name? I missed his name. Did he say his name?
No, we didn't.
Okay, so Mr. X, that's a good point. And I think what we have done, Citizens for Detroit's Future and our voter initiative folks and all of our members, we've been for the last few cycles, we've now revealed what's going on. Now that Jill Stein, I guess she gave it legitimacy because, the Caucasian woman said it. And even though I've been saying and telling folks and 200 of us saw the proof, folks didn't want to believe it. But now that she said it, now people are aware.
Right.
We know now what they do. We know how they do it. I know when they do it. I know the methodology by which they're doing it. And I know that they are as crooked as a dog's hind leg. So we've set into place, and will have in place, which is what we're going to talk about on the 11th, how we're going to stop that, because we got to get the votes counted properly. And we can't rely on Janice Winfrey because she's a real part of the problem and her minions underneath her. But there's no guarantee, of course. But I have something in mind. Now that we know it, we're not going to allow it, and I know it with certainty, and now that Jill Stein has revealed it with certainty, and now that the nation's eyes are on Detroit, we have a way to prevent them from stealing like they've been doing. And they've been doing it on a consistent basis to put Bing there, to put Duggan there, to put these folks that they want in leadership positions so that they can then convince you that it's okay to take everything you own and to take your pensions and so on and so forth. So January 11th, 2017, 6 o'clock, 13960 Gratiot. Come on, let's talk about it. We're going to be very succinct, right to the point. We're going to start at 6 sharp. We're going to end at 7:30 sharp. I'm going to tell you, and we're going to discuss how we're going to go about planning to take back our city and planning to change the leadership. And this is not a meeting for me. I'm simply the facilitator to call it together. This is a meeting for you, Detroit, to come out and talk.
Next caller.
Caller, you're in the air. Your name, please, and how are you viewing this?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. What's your name?
Good morning.
This is Joe, Ordinary Joe, and I'm calling from New York, from Yonkers, New York. I'm out of town right now.
Okay, thanks for calling. You have a question?
I wanted to ask Theo, Hassan, and you, Mr. Burroughs, to donate money to you guys' cause. To please give those, those addresses so we can write in and send you guys money. And I want to ask Theo, is your organization separate from Hassan? So I'll know.
What?
The show, yes, it is. Both of the shows are separate.
Yeah. We're talking about Hood Research.
We're talking about
Right. Turn your TV down or radio in the background. The address for Hood Research is P.O. Box 4416, Detroit, Michigan 48204. Again, that's Hood Research, P.O. Box 4416, Detroit, Michigan 48204.
And Mr. Burroughs?
You can, hold on, you can make the check out to Hood Research, or you can make the check out to WHPR. We don't have any objection to that because it's for the show.
And as far as Ordinary Joe, as far as Citizens for Detroit's Future, there's a couple ways you can actually get to us, and we'll also be discussing that on the 11th. You can go straight to our website. There is a donate button there. That's cfdfdetroit.com. That stands for Citizens for Detroit's Future, Detroit, but cfdfdetroit.com. There's a button there, and then, of course, you can mail your checks made out to Citizens for Detroit's Future to 2650 Gratiot Avenue, and that's Detroit 48207. And we are a Michigan nonprofit, and the resources that you would help us to get and to provide will be used solely for the purposes of organizing what we're attempting to try to do, and does not benefit an individual.
Okay, thank you. And I'd like to make a brief comment, if it's okay, Theo.
Sure. Go ahead.
I think your previous callers, especially Tom, was right on point, and this young man, Living Color, and Kurt. But you asked Tom what was his alternative to capitalism. For me, capitalism is a man or a woman that gets 10 people who have different skills, right? And, of course, he or she don't have those skills. So they tell these 10 people, doctors, lawyers, whatever, mathematicians, whatever, I can make you rich in a year if you let me combine your thought process and your resources. What that is called is bartering. And that's the alternative to capitalism, is bartering. And that's why the capitalist speaks so adversely about bartering. I mean, Theo, if you're a doctor and I am a garbage man, and the front of your house is filled with garbage, and my kids need their tooth pulled, why can't we barter?
And you can.
All right, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
And you can. That's an alternative, I suppose, to capitalism is bartering. But bartering is part of capitalism.
Right. They do it every day.
Yes, do it all the time.
All the time. Countries do it. You know, it's very interesting how they do it, and we're not aware of it. Let's take another call. Caller, you on the air. How are you viewing this, and what is your name, please?
So, can you hear me?
Yes,
we can
hear
you. What's your name?
This is the 3D man.
The what?
The 3D
Before
man?
Obama came, there
3D
was a
man.
fight.
And how you
in
watching?
University of Michigan and the Southern Right. Ain't the big three, they come to an end. We got Toyota and Mercedes-Benz.
Okay, man. So what is your name? You
Upstate
rhyming, man.
Detroit. Chocolate City, the Germans exploit.
Oh, it's giving us
Look
a
here, brother. You get the point.
Okay.
You sip the water. You sip the poison water, not smoke a joint. You drink the water and say it's okay. You don't give a shit. You get mad anyway. After your brother, I heard you call. Global bigotry, they build a wall. Ain't no slave blood pumping your veins, but they hate you just the same. Hell no, you can't pick a judge, man or woman, the color of fudge. The visible empire, that spot, Mary Baba sits at the top. General Moses gets off clean. The white point at they sing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Why don't you look at General Motors?
Okay.
All right.
All right,
Thank
thank
you. We are now at 10:30, I believe.
Yeah, about 10:25.
10:25.
Yes, I
okay,
can stick
we got
around for
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next call.
Okay. Caller, you on the air. How are you viewing this, and what's your name?
Hey, how y'all doing this morning?
Okay.
What's your name?
Henry from Detroit, watching on TV.
Okay.
Watching on.
You mistakenly gave Chantel Jenkins credit this morning for the Cobo thing, but it was Chanel Jackson. It wasn't. That was a sellout. You know what? They both did enough damage to the city, though.
Right. What's your
It
name?
was two different
Henry.
people.
Henry. Okay. Keep going.
Yes, that was one that it was so stark and so outward. And now, of course, they let her land over there at the water department in the thaw program. So you know they do the bidding. The Republicans will do that now. They'll get Negroes
Yeah,
to.
that's Chantel over at the thaw program.
Yeah, but you know I've made
Chanel
it clear.
Jackson, I don't deal with her. She just, I guess.
But I appreciate it, Henry. Thank you very much for the call and letting me know the name. I knew it was Jackson. I couldn't.
All right, let's keep it accurate. All right.
Yes, sir. I agree completely. I stand chastised.
Chantel Jenkins.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
Next.
Okay, we have another caller here. Caller, you on the line?
Hello?
Hello,
Yes.
go right ahead.
Your name?
Yeah, my name is Renee, and I'm from
Hi,
Pontiac.
Renee from Pontiac.
And I'm viewing on the internet.
Uh-huh.
I got a couple of things to say. First of all, I got the question. Lansing got a law about you can't protest or picket anymore, and this Emergency Management Act. When they leave these boards. Like I'm here in Pontiac, the emergency manager, the man himself is gone, and his assistant is gone. But they leave this tab board, and our council cannot vote on anything over $50,000. But they can run things. If they reject something, the mayor can go back and say, "No, I want to hire more people," and they'll approve it. So the Emergency Management and that Picket Act is something that we really gonna have to work on, because I'm like, it's just majority black cities, but I've seen these white cities and they're getting into trouble too, and no emergency manager. So I just want to know, is that Picket, anti-Picket unconstitutional? I know the Emergency Management Act is unconstitutional, but we need to abolish emergency managers, and we need to vote in this midterm election. I don't know, Michigan's having one this year, that we need to vote. So that's strictly all I say. But emergency management, they leave stuff behind, like these tab boards.
Right.
You know, what Renee says.
Wait a minute. Renee, before you hang up, I want you to do some research on the laws they're trying to change as it relates to Social Security and Medicare. I understand that that's something that the new administration coming in D.C. wants to dissolve, eliminate. Okay, thanks for calling, Renee.
Thank you very much, Renee. You know, I do want to touch on something, because this is one of the overreaches of Public Act 436 emergency managers. Their financial review board, and this is what's so disturbing, because it's paternalistic, it's patronizing. Once they approve the city's budget, once they approve it, they've agreed that I'm going to be able to spend X number of dollars for my law department. I'm going to be able to spend X number of dollars for my police department. Where I spend those resources is entirely up to me. You're out of the picture now. That's what the law says. The problem is that they will willy-nilly stand in. No one challenges them, because the people who can challenge them are the ones who are afraid to do so. And in fact, once that budget is approved, they have no more say about that. And any say that they do take is not say that you have to follow or listen to. And if it gets challenged in court by a strong leader, you can bring all this stuff to a halt. This patronizing, this targeting of black cities using these fake laws is just entirely wrong. And every one of you sitting out there looking at this know that it's wrong. You see Caucasian cities in trouble, and they never put anybody in there to take them over and to run them. It is only Negroes that they do that to. It is only isolated and aimed at black people to take their resources and assets. Then as it relates to the protest, that's designed to further bust the unions. That's designed to prevent you from being able to object to whatever it is that they want to do. And if you don't see that as a targeted black law, then you're just naive. And you're dangerously naive to yourself. And that's what's happening across the board here, because there is no leadership. There's no leadership. That's why we got to organize on January the 11th.
But not only that, it's a violation of the Constitution.
That's right.
Constitutional right to assemble.
That's correct.
And in the Constitution, the Michigan Constitution, as well as the federal, you have a right to protest and file grievances against the government. So when somebody's going to fine you for filing a grievance against the government, that violates the... Hey, look, these people are lunatics. They are hypocrites. They're just crazy.
It's unconstitutional.
And it's something wrong with us for believing them. Now, since you are scared to say something, you know, that young lady that called in is saying something about it, Renee from Pontiac. But what about the rest of us? We don't know. And you know, that's something that I just sit back in it. I just almost want to bust out laughing when the people call in and say, well, we had civics in school. Well, if that was part of your civics class, why don't you say something?
I think, you know, I really do think, Hassan, with Renee and others, they do see it. They do speak out to the extent they can speak out, but they don't have the resources, nor are they the ones to be charged with the responsibility to challenge what's going on, because that requires lawyers. That requires legal assistance. That requires you going to court. And the people who are doing it know that the public doesn't have access to those kind of resources.
Absolutely.
So to the extent that we do not organize and do not amalgamate our money together to be able to then have those kinds of resources, they will always be successful. That's why January 11th is so important.
Well, it is important to get out, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But to get the information out so people will know their rights and what they're coming. You know, if you don't know the man is lying and you can't look at a book and see that, then, you know, what are you doing? It's almost like it's a waste of time that people don't know.
Yeah.
You know.
All right.
Let's take another call here.
Okay.
Boy, you seem to have a lot of calls here.
Caller, you're on the line. Well, you're here, Tom. The line
No, it's
lit
not
up.
me. It's
Caller, you're on the
Is
line.
it me?
Yes.
Yeah, it's you. It's you.
Okay.
Who
Yes.
is it?
My name is Karen.
Thanks for
I'm
calling.
viewing you from Detroit on Channel 33.
All right.
And what I wanted to say, several things actually, but I'm hoping that Mr. Burrow will leave his information for people who can attend that meeting on the 11th. I'm hoping I'm hoping that there's going to be further interaction with them other than that meeting on the 11th, and that he'll leave his information. Number two is when you talk about organizing, Mr. Burrow, what are you talking about exactly? Are you talking about forming committees? Are you talking about raising money? I mean, I may have missed that earlier, but could you explain what you're speaking of when you say organizing?
Get your pen and paper ready, Karen. Get your pen and paper ready. Okay.
Thank you, Karen. And but you were close. You said Burrow, so that's okay. You were close, but it's
I'm
Barrow.
sorry.
That's okay. I'm good. But what I intend to do, what we intend to do, our organization, Citizens for Detroit's Future, and the Progressive Democratic Caucus, is to bring people together to talk about what it is that people are identifying as the issues that are confronting Detroit, and what it is that the people see that needs to be done, and then getting people to come together in a block. Well, how do you come together in a block? First of all, you got to be a block of Democrats somehow or another, or progressives. You know, you got to be a block of folks who will then have some impact in how you do whatever you do. And then you got to take that block of people that you have and folks, and you got to be able to raise the resources you need to achieve your objective. But I don't want to go into all of it here on the air. Instead, I want to invite you to that meeting on January the 11th at 13960 Gratiot Avenue. Citizens for Detroit's Future can be reached at, just so you'll know, Karen, at 393-3100. And I'm on extension 201. And you can get me and you can leave a message for me. And I always return my phone calls.
Give the number again.
313-393-3100. Get a crayon out, get a paintbrush, get whatever it takes, and write it down. And don't forget the January 11th date. And then we will have subsequent meetings. This is just the organizing meeting. And this is the meeting that we are going to invite a lot of folks to. And if you get one of those letters or emails or one of those phone calls, don't just dismiss it. And even if you don't accept the positions and think the way that we think, and frankly, we think like we're being undermined. We're thinking like we're being marginalized as a city. Detroit should control Michigan.
Thank you.
Bias. Thank you very much for the call.
We'll see you next Wednesday, Karen. January 11th.
Well, you're right. Detroit is the biggest city in Michigan. It's the largest economic base in Michigan, even though they always say Oakland County. But if Oakland County had this large economic base, why didn't all the stadiums go to Oakland County?
Yeah. No, it's you should not. In Michigan, hell, we're Detroit. You can't do anything in Michigan without coming by. That's the way it should be. But because we have no leadership, they're allowed now to just marginalize, and therefore it gives the perception that blacks are powerless.
Right.
When in fact, if you're organized with that energy and it's directed in one way, you can control this entire state. You can't be governor without coming through Detroit.
The reason that Detroit is most desirable is because it has an international border right to Windsor.
So Karen, you're on target, Karen. Hopefully you'll be able to make it on the 11th. If not, there'll be others. Just call and leave your phone number at the CFDF, which is 393-3100.
And what about your website?
It's cfdfdetroit.com. is our website. That's the one we use for the voter initiative. It talks about what we're trying to do. And of course, they created an identical ordinance to ours, just as they did for Proposal B, and then got it passed. And theirs, they blocked ours, and we're still fighting in the courts now. They blocked ours. This is what's happening while we got to take back our community and put leaders in there who are responsive to the public, to the people.
All right. Well, we want to thank you so much for joining us this morning. And again, I want to let everybody know that Tom Barrow is a man of his word and has been here with us for an hour and a half. And we have enjoyed the conversation, and you have generated a lot of response from people who are concerned about what's going on in our community, what needs to go on in our community, and I is expecting that they will be joining all of us on Wednesday, January the 11th.
And thank you very much, Theo. And to Detroit as your outlook. I know we're going to have some folks in there who are KGB and effectively can't wait to go back and tell the man as to what we're talking about. But we don't care. We're counting on them, because they'll tell a unified message. But it's important to me and to my family and I mean, I love this city, and I think there's no question that when I see it hurt as I see it, and I see folks' water getting cut off and people getting put out of their homes and pensions getting taken, and no one's standing up for us.
Right.
We've got to organize. And this is not a meeting for me. This is not a meeting for me for some office or whatever. This is designed to begin the process of the taking back of the city and how we go about doing it. Theo, thank you very much for having me. Hassan, it's always nice to see you, man. And thank you, Detroit, for being kind and at least listening to me talk here. Hopefully I didn't bore you to death.
Oh, no, of course. And we'll be back momentarily.
BY, Detroit, Highland Park, Michigan.
The National Guard has a highly trained group of individuals in the military. Their ability has a very direct application in outside industry. Wayne County Community College offering programs such as cybersecurity puts them into a career where there's going to be a tremendous demand. Protecting Fortune 500 companies that are located in Michigan, we feel there's great opportunity in maximizing that partnership.
Fake Friends. Behind the scenes of the new dance show. Written by Mike Matthews.
Talking about my friends. How many of us are real friends?
Hey, it's LaWanda. Guess what? I'm going to be on radio and TV. I want you to be with me every Wednesday between the hours of 6 and 8 p.m. You and I, right here. WHPR TV 33.
It's Fake Friends. Written by Mike Matthews. Behind the scenes of the new dance show.
I'm going to give you the updates on this new sitcom entitled Fake Friends. I'm going to have my real friends with me on my show. I'm talking about Mr. R.J. Watkins and none other than Mr. Henry Tyler.
The sitcom Fake Friends.
I'm going to dish the dirt whose baby is that as I sip my tea. Who you calling fake?
Can we all just get along?
I'm minding my business. I'm just telling yours.
The new sitcom Fake Friends. Only on 107.3 FM. WVIE Virgin Islands. Simulcasting on Comcast. Channel 91 and TV 33.
I'm Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabri. If you're facing tax foreclosure, you should have received a notice of a show cause hearing. These hearings are being held to advise you of all the options available to help you save your property. The hearing notices indicate an assigned date and time to attend. The hearings will be held during the month of January, beginning on January 10th on the 8th floor of 400 Monroe in downtown Detroit. The show cause hearings are designed to help prevent foreclosure. I want you to keep your property, and we are here to help. In addition to our staff, there will be free financial counseling, legal services, and other public and private partners willing to assist you in avoiding property tax foreclosure. For more information, call 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. If you have already entered into a payment plan or paid your 2014 and prior taxes in full, you do not have to attend. Please take advantage of this opportunity to avoid tax foreclosure.
All right. And yes, we are all the way live right here at WHPR. And my name is Theo Brun, for anyone who does not know, co-founder of Hood Research, and my co-host today is
Hassan Aline.
yes. And I thank you so much. And our lines are still full, so I guess we'll go back.
Okay. Caller, you're on the line.
Your name?
Hello?
Yes, your name?
Hey, how are you?
We're wonderful.
Hello, how are you? Happy New Year.
Thank you. Is this Steve?
Wayne Bernard.
Oh, hi,
Watching
Wayne.
you on TV 91.
All right. Thank you. Go ahead. Turn that down in the background.
Yes, you have a very, very interesting show.
Thank you.
I'd like to get your guest, Tom Barrow.
Mm-hmm.
But what we need to do, and I say we, we need to vote a new Wayne County prosecutor in. Tim Worthy needs to go.
Well,
we need to look at either Deborah Thomas or Herb Sanders. Well, in the air with that.
Okay. Well, the issue with that is that election just ended in November, so that's something to work towards for the next election. What is happening now in 2017, which we are in, January the 2nd, is the beginning of the campaign for the city, the mayor, the council, the clerk. That's one of the focuses that we need to have right now. You know, the Wayne County prosecutor was just put back into office November the 8th.
She
So
could be recalled.
Are you listen, while that is definitely possible, according to the law, the person has to be in office 6 months before you can begin that process. So you can't start it until June. That would be the 6 months. But right now, we have got to concentrate on the city offices. Don't you think?
Yes. That's what's going on right now.
Wayne, where'd he go?
He's still there.
Yes.
Wait, yeah.
I'm here.
Okay, don't you think we have to concentrate on that? Hello? Hello?
We have to concentrate. True enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think he's giving us something to think about. No, he's still on the line. Right. Maybe he's having a little problem
hearing us. Okay.
But that's something to think about.
Right.
For the future.
Right.
But we appreciate your call, Wayne, and Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Uh-huh.
Caller, you on the air. What's your name and how are you viewing this?
Good morning, Brother Hassan, and good morning, Queen.
Good morning.
Thank you for calling.
I'm viewing your Channel 33, and my name is Jihad Muhammad.
Thank you for calling, Jihad.
I think in 2017, we got to be thinking in terms more or less of the blueprint of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and that is doing for self. You know, for us to continue understanding to believe that a political system or the government of America, which is on her deathbed, which is over $19 trillion in debt, and everything is tied to the deficit, for us to continue to believe that politics is going to solve black people problem in America, you know, it's really sad. And this is why the youth are rising up, because God is pouring His Spirit into the youth, because the old ones are caught up understanding, believe and understand that they will find success in a political system that has totally rejected black people. And we have over 40 to 50 million of us. We have a spending power of a little over $1 trillion, and yet we're too cowardly to get up and try to pool our resources together and do what's necessary to do to make a future for our children. Because this system is through. America's on her deathbed. And you got to be able to see the hand of God in this. But we got to shake the fear and go for self. We can stop making excuses. We have physicists, we have scientists, we have doctors, we have lawyers, we have technicians, we have politicians, we have all that to be able to go for ourselves. But we are just too afraid to go for self, and that's the biggest problem that we have today. And I think that God is getting more and more angry with us than what we fail to realize or whatever, because in 2017 we're still thinking in turn that America is going to be fair to us, and she's not.
I understand. So we are definitely going to have to pay attention to where we spend our dollars, and our dollars need to be spent with our people. I thank you so much for that input, and I hope to see you.
Love to both of you. You all have a blessed day.
All right, thank you for calling. Next.
Caller, you on the air?
Good morning again. This is Jay calling back, and
Yes.
I forgot. Well, it was so much on my mind I had to talk about. But
Go ahead.
when Mr. Barrow was there, I wanted to mention a lot of people, especially some of the younger people, don't really realize Tom Barrow's uncle is the great Joe Louis, Joe Louis Barrow.
Right.
And with this new stadium being built for the Red Wings and the Pistons, and there's been talk about tearing down Joe Louis Arena. I'm wondering if the community got together and think about making sure that Joe Louis' legacy is still recognized in the city in some form or fashion, besides once they tear down the arena, because, Joe Louis is one of the most important residents of Detroit and of this country, and the influence and the things that he did, really helped shape this country. And I think we must always continue to uphold him and continue his legacy so that younger generations know who he was and what was his impact on the world. So, I'm not going to be able to make that meeting because of prior arrangements, but commitments. But hopefully somebody will bring that up, and Mr. Barrow could probably spearhead that, because I think that's very important. That goes along with this whole gentrification of the city and the elimination of our heroes.
Yeah,
so
the elimination
I'll
of
take the answer
the names.
because I can't hear on the phone. Thank you.
All right. And the many names of our people are being eliminated from other areas as well. The Millender Center next door to the City County building, now called the Copenhagen Municipal Center. Millender was someone who was very instrumental in the political system here in the city of Detroit. And the purchasers of it said they were going to leave his name on, but it seems to me that they have not or not going to do that. But I do agree with you, and thank you for bringing up that point. I definitely do.
Theo, Carla made that was an interesting point he made about the Joe Louis Arena. They want to tear it down, but the Joe Louis Arena is owned by the city of Detroit. So what's the problem? What is the problem that the city of Detroit, we can get these council people to do something real simple, keep the Joe Louis Arena there. They want to be elected. They want to be re-elected, rather, to the city council. So the ones that's voting to tear it down or don't vote to keep it, they need to go. And that's money the city's giving away.
Yeah.
How is it? Look, we talk about capitalists. Somebody say that capitalist system needs to go, or whatever system you want to call it, but we know it's a oligarch with the few people running the show at the head, so that you got the Illiges, the Gilberts, to figure nobody's supposed to be downtown but them.
But there again, Hassan, how do we spend our money? Illich is becoming, I take that back. He is continuing to be on the list of billionaires, that's with a B, because of the support from the people within our community. And you say, wow, we don't like hockey. Well, maybe we don't like hockey, but there are black folk who do like hockey, so they buy tickets. However, black folk like baseball. The concession stands are in both arenas. He owns both teams, owns a casino where most of the black folk that go seem to like to go to his casino. He claims it's his wife, but you let her drop dead and see who owns it. But they seem to like to go to that casino, even though we have three. The majority of the black folk who go seem to go to that one, and that's continuing his billions that he gets collected. When you talk about the pizza joints, they are all over the city. So when we think about our people buying pizza, Seems to me like they are supporting him. So you can't complain and keep dropping your money in the slot.
Well, you're right. You can't complain, but it's one thing. It's amazing to me how when they start talking about business and what business blacks should go into, all we got to do is go back and take the businesses that we had in the past. You know, we had restaurants and stores, and the Arabs bought the restaurants and the stores from the black folk. They didn't steal them from them. They didn't burn the store down. They bought them. And it's just that simple. All we got to do is enough vacant commercial buildings, commercial property around the city to open up a store and compete. And then our people will start shopping with us. And that's how they get the jobs. And that's how business is done. If you want to know about the capitalist system, that's capitalist, where everybody gets a chance to throw their hat in the ring and compete, which we're not doing because we're waiting on somebody to tell us what to do. But you know, the tire shops were run by black folks. Tire shops. You know, they used to laugh at black folks. See, that's something that's ridiculous. Everything that we have done positive, our own folks would laugh at us. Oh, he's getting his hands dirty. I don't want you to be a tireman. I don't want you to own a tire shop. But they forgot that Goodyear and Firestone, that's all they do is sell tires, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
They do a little auto repair now. Black folks were mechanics. They had garages. Even when they didn't have them on the main street, they had them on their back street.
Yeah.
They had garages.
Well, now I got to interject. There have been some black-owned businesses that have been burned so that folk could take over, but not the majority of them. And there is a black-owned tire company now, but you have to make sure that you're concerned about supporting your own and finding out the location. And there are websites that have the locations of black-owned businesses too. So it's not that you can't find them if you really want them. Black-owned clothing stores as well. But the next meeting for Hood Research is Saturday, January the 14th. And for those of you who won't be able to attend the meeting on January the 11th, attend the Hood Research meeting on January the 14th. We meet at 12048 Grand River on the corner of Wyoming. Grand River on the corner of Wyoming. Our meeting starts at 2, and we have been asked to show that documentary 13. So that'll start at 2 o'clock for those of you who have not seen it. Oh, Hassan, in February, we're going to have a wine tasting. Doesn't that sound interesting? We always have to throw in something different.
All right.
Right.
You have
Okay,
any
anybody else
cheese
on the
with it?
phone? Oh, yeah. Oh, that must go, too. Okay, somebody else on the line?
Oh, yes, we have a caller on the line.
Okay.
We have 2 minutes left. I guess this will be the
All right.
last caller.
All right.
Caller, you the last caller. Will you state your name and how you're viewing us? Hello?
Go to the next.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, we're fine. Your name?
My name is Michelle, and I'm viewing you on Channel 91, Comcast.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead.
And there seems to be a little disturbance inside of the voice, but hopefully you can hear me.
Yes, very
I just
clearly.
wanted to say thank you for your show today. Very positive information, and I hope that other people are watching. So I want to keep this real short and quick. We are under a gentrification process, not only here in the city of Detroit, but all across the nation. And I want people to be aware, and I want to encourage them to watch some of the videos of Dick Gregory.
Yes.
He's very informative. Yes. He's telling you some on-the-point things that you really need to know. His name, again, is Dick Gregory, people. Bring him up on the computer and watch some of his YouTube videos. You will learn why so many black men are missing. And over 1-point-something million. And I think just the last couple of years, there's something going on. And there's a lot of underhandedness going on. And it's even going as deep as organ harvesting, people.
Right.
What you do not know.
Right.
There's so much that's being revealed, and you will learn a great deal. I want to also point out one of the cleaners that needs your business is called Elegant Cleaners, located on Grand River and near Southfield, just next door to Wendy's. She has black visors coming out. Very bright colored store. Another gas station black on is Shell, located on 7 Mile and Outer Drive.
Yep, we mentioned that.
Needs your business as well. If I'm thinking, far as the children go and school and this double school board and them stealing our money and giving it to all the suburban areas of Detroit, I'm almost tempted to say, keep your children out of school on count day. Don't let them go. And another thing I want you people to do in Detroit that are homeowners are to look at your taxes and see all those millages that have come out and what they are for. Call that number and say, what is this for? I noticed Wayne County Community College is on there for $60 alone for Wayne County Community College.
Okay, we're out of time.
And the DIA.
Thanks a lot.
I know I didn't vote that on there.
Right. Thanks a lot. We've got to go.
But
we're out of time. We're out of time.
I can't hear you, but I hope you can hear me.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling. All right.
We're right down on time.
She was sharing a lot of information, and Dick Gregory comes on this program with us from time to time. So we need to let you know that, and we're expecting that he will be back on with us soon. No matter where he is, he has no objection to calling in if he's not in town. This has been a very productive day, productive 2 hours. And I want to thank all of you for tuning in and staying with us and supporting WHPR, supporting the programs that I do and the programs that Hassan does. His program will be on tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. right here at WHPR with his co-host, Carl Williams. And as I say at the end of our show, it's not necessary for you to know everything. What is necessary is for you to know how to find what you need when you need it. We encourage you, one, to stay tuned to WHPR and this program at 9 o'clock each Monday, and to attend our meetings, which are on the second Saturday of each month on Grand River and Wyoming. Meetings start at 2 o'clock, we go to 6. And we gather as much information as we can and encourage you to do the same to help us all make better informed decisions. Hassan?
Okay.
Got any last parting words?
Well, we'll be off in a minute, so hey, I'll be on tomorrow.
That's right.
9 o'clock.
All right. All right. Tune in again next week and listen to Hassan and Carl tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Peace.